we will present the beloved speaker. By tradition, this speaker is nominated by the graduates of the year, and this year they have selected Mr. Owen Finnegan.
Class of 2025. Families, loved ones, and fellow faculty members, I am so honored to be up on the stage in front of you all. I have a really special relationship with this class, and they hold a really special place in my heart. And I think I hold a special place in theirs too. And this is best exemplified by the myriad names I've been given by this group. They're the normal ones, Mr. Finnegan, Mr. F, Coach. I'm a big fan of those. When I got a little bit more adventurous with my facial hair, Mr. Mustache was pretty popular for a bit. And then sometime around the Costa Rica trip, some nicknames became really popular with this group. Young Finn, Unk Finn, Middle-aged Finn. I'm 27 years old. Somehow, you all found out my middle name, and you were just calling me Neil for a bit. So anyways, yes, I've been called many things by this class, but to be called your beloved speaker is by far the name that has moved me the most. Thank you all so much. Like I said, it's such an honor to stand before you today, nervous and shaky, and help you conclude your Meadowbrook journeys. There's some symmetry here to the start of my personal Meadowbrook journey, which began with me, nervous and shaky, a parental leave substitute, standing in front of Mr. Saslow's 7th grade English class with the Herculean task of getting a group of students I had only just met to be excited about Macbeth. I had no idea that class, and the rest of this grade as a whole, would come to mean so much to me. Well, it was a no-brainer to accept the opportunity to speak in front of you all. I did have a sense of hesitation. Graduation speeches are supposed to be full of worldly advice, and I'm young enough that I still need to text my mom when I have to set up a doctor's appointment. Additionally, there are lower school teachers in this building who taught you how to tie your shoes, how to count to 10, and how to be functional human beings. I was lucky enough to be present in a season of your life where I could give you questionable life advice in Costa Rica, thereby undoing all of that functional human being stuff that my colleagues have spent so many years building towards. So anyways, I frankly talked to some of these brilliant colleagues about what to say to such an amazing group of kids. And the advice I received was largely the same. Write what you know, and be honest to yourself. Advice that I have given so many students, but I failed to realize for myself. So, class of 2025, I need to speak to you about what I know. And many of you will not be surprised which direction this speech is soon headed. So, for those of you who might not know me as well as these young people in front of me, after my family, which is firmly in first place, and my career, which is a close second, there is one thing that stands above all else in my life in terms of importance. Birds, that's right, Samantha Craig, thank you very much. Now, I hope you all can understand that there was simply no way I was turning down the opportunity to teach a room full of hundreds of people about the joys of the birding world. So here we go. I once called a bird. There are few things that bring me more joy than running into the woods, or a marsh, or a public park, with a pair of binoculars and a camera, and trying to find as many different bird species as possible. For many birders like myself, it's not about the number of birds you see, but the rarity of the bird. This quest for finding unusual bird species has brought me to some strange places. Each day, I get an email about rare birds that have been reported in the state of Massachusetts. And I have the same internal conversation with myself, which is like, do I call out of work sick today? To drive to a town that I've never heard of, west of Worcester, to see an orange-crowned warbler that has overstayed its typical winter timeline? Conversations of that nature, and I'm sure many of you in here can relate. The important point is this. For many birders, the joy of birding is the hunting of the extraordinary, the unique, the rare, the uncommon. For my years of birding, I have felt this magnetic pull towards finding rare birds. It just seemed better, it seemed richer, and it was a reward for the time that I put to find it. But recently, reading a book titled What It's Like to Be a Bird by the legendary nature writer David Allen Sibley, I came across a page detailing the nesting habits of mallard ducks. If you don't know what a mallard is, I can actually guarantee that everybody in this room has seen one. They're the most ubiquitous duck species on the planet, with their native range occupying the entire United States, Europe, Asia, and Northern Africa. I've seen mallards in glacial ponds in Alaska. I've seen them in the canals in downtown Amsterdam, and I've seen them a few hundred feet away in the Meadowbrook pond. So needless to say, if you've seen a duck, it was probably a mallard, and you probably didn't think much of it. You may have even found it unremarkable. But in reading this piece from Sibley, I was struck by what I saw. Female mallards build their nests far from water, where they're most comfortable, to lay 9 or 10 eggs. Once laid, the female sparsely attends to them as she feeds voraciously. During this 2-week period, the eggs are mostly left alone and are exceptionally vulnerable to predators looking for an easy snack. When the female returns, the 4-week incubation period begins where, spectacularly, the female sits on eggs for 4 straight weeks, unmoving, to keep the eggs warm. This period is unspeakably dangerous for the female. She relies only on her camouflage and pure luck to prevent her from the innumerable dangers that surround her. And studies suggest that nearly a third of all incubating females don't survive this period. If you suddenly just got the urge to call or text your mom, congratulations, you're not wrong. But imagine me reading this at my kitchen table, replaying all those moments where, in searching for a rare bird species, I spotted something moving. I grabbed my binoculars, I held my breath, I peered through the lenses, and I saw a mallard. Imagine me realizing a bird that I had considered so commonplace, so unexceptional, a mere obstacle that gets in the way of the more impressive sights, must have overcome a mountain of hardships just to be given a chance in the world. To ask a question I've received from many young people in this room, Mr. Finnegan, what are you going on and on about? I'm in a gymnasium full of exceptional students and families. I'm surrounded by some of the most inspirational colleagues I've had the privilege to work with in my career. The cumulative experience of this 8th grade in front of me is exceptional. Together, we've hiked volcanoes in Costa Rica. I've watched you perform sensational musicals. I've read essays and poems and creative pieces that have moved me to tears. You're going to some of the most impressive public and private high schools in the entire country. And I just watched you showcase your student film at one of the most esteemed independent cinemas on the Eastern Seaboard. Shout out Big Chili. But I feel compelled to tell you something that you might not want to hear. Despite the sensational and exciting lives that you will all have, the vast majority of adulthood is mundane, routine, and unexceptional. Some proof. Each morning, I make the exact same cup of coffee, measured to the exact gram. I put it in the same Meadowbrook branded travel coffee mug. I begin drinking it at the same time in my commute, after I cross Memorial Drive and before I get on the mass bike. I enter my classroom at the same exact time every morning, 7:15, where I have a rigid system of opening tabs on my computer. First my email, then my class slides, then my gradebook. Much of my life, like the aforementioned mallard, is pretty unexceptional and honestly quite boring. Had I been told, as a graduating 8th grader, that in just a few years, this is what the first few hours of basically every single morning of my life would look like, I would have been nothing short of horrified. And yet, class of 2025, I want to tell you that these repetitive, quotidian tasks are worth being aware of, and approaching with joy, and appreciating with the full extent of your being. Accomplishing this mode of thinking, to me, is the key to a fulfilling and meaningful existence. This dichotomy between the exceptional and unexceptional is, in a strange way, a story of my relationship with this 8th grade class. We have undoubtedly had several once-in-a-lifetime experiences together. We braved an extemporaneous overnight trip to Vermont to kind of see a solar eclipse. We traveled together for 2 weeks in Costa Rica, sleeping in a treehouse, battling through whitewater rapids, helping the local community, seeing lots of cool birds. There were too many treasured memories to recall in such a short speech. But despite these incredible moments with you all, the memories that have the most meaning to me are the unremarkable ones. The times we've come to my classroom during study hall, unannounced, to get help on paper, or to just talk, or to cry, or to vandalize my whiteboard. The basketball, both traditional and cornhole inspired, that we would play at recess. The class discussions and the joking around in the forum, even when, and perhaps especially when, those jokes are at my expense. These everyday, simple, routine experiences are the ones that I will truly miss next year. The moments where you 38 exceptional young people have improved the unexceptional moments of my day. Birding became much more enjoyable for me when I consciously made the decision to relinquish my desire for the spectacular in favor of the appreciation of the everyday. While I don't want anyone to think that life has no exceptional moments, it certainly does, and your lives will be full of them. To build your life in anticipation of these, to completely forgo the pleasure that can be found in a routine, normal day, is a dangerous thing. There were times in my life, not long ago, where my daily routines filled me with dread and despair. I would make my coffee, I would get in my car, and I would feel the crushing weight of the world on me while I made my way to work. My life is not like that at Meadowbrook. My routines are filled with joy and with love, and this class we're celebrating today is a major reason for that. I truly feel like I've started my most important journey here at Meadowbrook, and I'm so thankful to these 8th graders for helping me discover that. Class of 2025, I truly hope that I've nudged you slightly towards the beginning of your next journey too. And I hope these journeys after Meadowbrook are like a mallard. Routine, commonplace, unexceptional, and breathtakingly beautiful. Thank you all so much. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much.